This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
My favorite Rani Mukherji. How are you?
I'm okay, Hrishi.
You must be also. It must be a great comforting factor to find some of the usual suspects around. Some of us old dinosaurs. Even though it's been a couple of years since your last movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a lot of new faces you get confronted with.
Absolutely.
A lot of teachers are going absolutely crazy in a good way after seeing the trailer, the promos, and this. It's really resonating with them.
Yeah.
And I'm actually a child of a teacher. My mother taught physics in school.
Oh.
And it's really touching them all. And isn't that the objective? Isn't that?
I mean,
these are people who do so much for us.
Exactly, because I just feel that there's no other profession more nobler than teaching. So it's in a way a tribute to all the teachers around the world, because the teachers do so much for us. They do just so much for us. I don't think we give them back enough, because teachers are just happy seeing their students flourish and become whatever they do in life, So I feel because it's a kind of a tribute to all the teachers in the world, I want all the teachers to see this film and feel happy and know that we are saluting them in a way through this film. Because I don't think there are many films that are made which just dedicate teachers in a way. Like there have been films where there have been characters who are teachers, but I don't think a film like Hichki has come which is actually just a full-on tribute to the teaching profession.
I felt tremendous guilt because, I went to college at Xavier's, but I schooled in Calcutta. I went to a school called Lamartnia for boys.
Right.
Because I saw this wonderful video of you going back to Manikji Cooper and bonding with your teachers. And I was like, man, I haven't gone back to Calcutta. I haven't gone back to my school.
Yeah.
Xavier's I still go because they invite me,
Exactly.
for the festival and things like that.
Right.
That must have been such a beautiful experience.
It was just so lovely, because just to go meet your teachers, because for teachers it's just the love that they require from us. And somewhere down the line, when we graduate and we go into our lives, we get so busy that we forget our teachers in a way, And strangely, I've always kept in touch with my teachers somehow, and when I called them for that event, they were so overwhelmed and so emotional. And I feel that after Hichki, the one thing that I definitely want is every person who comes out of the film, they will remember their favorite teacher and they will call that teacher that ma'am, I miss you, or sir, I miss you, because teachers play a very integral part or a role in the formative years of a child's growth. Because first we are just with our parents and we look up to them as our primary teachers, and then we are sent to school, and then we meet our teachers for the first time, and that love story with our teacher starts, because they are the ones who actually teach us all our basic learning, the way we grew up, emotionally, intuitively, everything. I think it's basically the kind of people we grow up to be is actually because of what the teachers have been in our life, because we observe them at a very early age, when we are trying to know what things are, how should you be. And playing Naina Mathur's character, somewhere I think I remembered all my teachers in school, so she's like an amalgamation of all the things that I probably have absorbed from them in my childhood. And
even the funny sir who says, let the climate come in.
Yes.
He actually said
Absolutely,
that.
Yeah, exactly. And he used to say it in every day when he used to come for the biology class. It was just so cute. And these are the things that stay with you. Yeah. And every teacher comes with a different accent. There are some teachers from the south, there's some Bengali teachers, and they all come and teach you different subjects. So you remember all those things so distinctively. And strangely, it is the school teachers that you mostly connect with. And because I think those are the carefree days of our lives, And I think that's where we begin our life, in school. People travel, or children travel abroad, children travel different states, different countries, just to take their formal education, which is after a later stage, after they are 15 years old. But the basic teaching that they get between that age of 4 and age of, say, 13 is the most important time.
And I believe Raja and yourself, your brother, and you both were Manikji Cooperites.
Yes, absolutely.
And you both went to the same school. Now,
I'm a very
siblings,
proud Cooperite.
And both siblings go to school. One is always known as the brother of the other, or the sister of the other. Yes. So, was he known as Rani Mukherji's brother back then?
No. I was known as Raja's sister. And I would always, run away from that fact, because he was so mischievous and he was such a prankster that I used to always feel that I hope nobody judges me. Like, this is Raja's sister, so she'll also be naughty. I think I self-trained myself not not to be naughty and not to be mischievous because of my brother, I think. Somewhere I think him being so naughty actually made me believe that I should not be naughty.
How does it work when you take a couple of years off?
Yeah.
Are you a little rusty, or is it like riding a cycle that once you learn it, acting, you just from the first shot, it's almost as though you never left? Yeah, how does it work?
You know, first when I actually went for my first day of the shoot, I was really, really emotional and I was actually sobbing in the car. And it was one of my most embarrassing moments because I always pride myself to be really strong, and I feel that, you know, I have to always show this side of mine which is strength, and, you know, I can't really be vulnerable in front of people who I'm not close to. But it so happened that I was on my way early in the morning, and it was the first day I was leaving Adira behind after she was born. So I had like these weird fears that, you know, what if she wakes up and she asks for me and she cries for me, and what if there's an emergency, I have to rush back. So there were these weird thoughts that were coming to my mind, and I was really fearful. And the other fear I had is, what if I go to the shoot and in front of the camera I actually forget how to act? What if the director asks something of me and I don't know how to do a particular shot? So these fears were there, and I suddenly realized that it's actually really good to express yourself, you know, and it's not a bad thing to cry, because if you cry, you're actually showing yourself as a very strong person, because you're able to express and you're able to tell the world that this is me and I'm very comfortable with who I am. So it's something that you're not putting on an act. And then I went in front of the camera and suddenly I felt, oh God, I belong here. This is what I do and this is where I belong. So it actually came, like how you said, you learn riding once and you'll always know how to do it.
Wow, that's amazing. And in any case, mothers react very differently. I mean, we have a 5-year-old. So, you know, sometimes I'll go to Besant Montessori to drop my daughter. And if she falls down, as a man, you just, you know, you brush it aside and you say, come on, get on. I know that my wife will break down. You know what I mean? Because you have that kind of bond with your daughter. So, I mean, leaving her must have been like
it's
a tearing experience. Crazy experience.
Crazy.
Listen, Jasleen Royal is just amazing. She has the sweet voice of a child.
Yeah.
And then you have this really mature soundtrack, which is amazing. I've been listening to the Harshdeep Kaur song. I've been listening to the Arijit song.
Have you listened to the theme of Naina?
No, I haven't heard the theme
of Naina is just gorgeous. I love the theme. Like, you know, somewhere I feel that it has that Ille Raja kind of music.
There's also some Tamil rap in that song.
That is amazing. That's like really cool. But this theme of Naina is actually one of my favorite songs. Not songs, I would say my favorite instrumental. Because somewhere when I hear that, something happens to me in my heart. Like I feel really stirred emotionally. Also the title track, Oye Hichki, my daughter sings it.
Oh yeah, she does.
And for me, it's such a surreal feeling because I can't get over the fact that today my daughter is singing my song. It's like just unbelievable. And she sings it so cutely that for me, Oye Hichki has become my most favorite song of the world for me. You know?
Lovely.
It's just too good.
And in that aspect, Jasleen is not a YRF regular in the sense she hasn't done full soundtracks before. So, whose idea to get her on? Siddharth Malhotra's, your husband's, Manish's?
I think Manish's.
Okay.
Because I remember Manish has a lot of faith in her in that sense. And he was truly saying, and I think he and Jasleen together, I think they've just worked. And I used to see Jasleen just hanging around the studio with her guitar, strumming some things. And she's just all there. And I'm just so happy that Hichki is her solo album. That this is the first film that she's given all the songs. And I'm extremely happy about that fact because I think she's truly talented. She has the, her music has the sound of the youth. At the same time, she has something which is very soulful. So it's a great combination.
Like you can get Jaideep to do lyrics and she'll still make something out of it.
Exactly.
You know, as opposed to just being a millennial and things like that.
Exactly.
You know, here's you on a set with Dada, which is Pradeep Sarkar, and then there's Sid Malhotra. I believe he's Prem Kishan ji's son.
Yes, he is.
You know, so tell me about that. I mean, tell me about him. I know he made VR Family, which I thought was an okay film. The music was good though, S.E.L. Shankar Hasan Loy's music.
But you know, Siddharth, I think strangely, I never ever thought in my life that Siddharth and me would have anything in common in terms of filmmaking or about films. Like I've not really interacted with him enough to know him as a person or know him as a director. Because in life you always meet people who you work with mostly, and then you create a rapport with those people because you spend so much of your time with those people that those people become your extended family. But Siddharth, I never had an opportunity to know him, even though he's from the film family. I never really knew him properly. And when I took up Hichki and I knew that Siddharth is going to be directing it, I had no clue what I'm getting into or what these few days in the shoot period is going to be like. But what I found in Siddharth, which is very rare today, I would say, is that he has a lot of respect for elders, which I think is his upbringing from the kind of family he comes from. He has a lot of respect for actors, for people, for elders, for like people who have been in the industry. So I see that in him, and I really, really like that, because that's something that I also have in common with him. Like, I'm very respectful towards elders and people from this industry, who have already been there and done that and everything. And the other thing which I really like about Siddharth is he's very prepared, because he comes from this television background as well, because he does a lot of TV shows. Cinevista. So he also has that television background, which makes him really prepared and very fast in his work. So I think that is something that I enjoyed, because for me, my only criteria for being able to work in this film was that I told them that A, don't take me. But if you take me, the only condition is that my time period is going to be very, very different, because I have a daughter and I'm a new mother. This is the first film I'm doing after I've become a mom. So I would need you all to be really focused. So when I come on set, I need you all to finish my work in like 5-6 hours and leave me, because I don't want to
I'm sorry to interrupt. I mean, even though I know you only through interviews, my gut feeling tells me that you're not the kind who will leave your child with a maid for very long and let the maids bring them up. You want to be hands-on.
Exactly. So for me, it was very important that I don't stay away from my child that much. And also because I left my baby when I went to shoot, she was about 14 months. I didn't want to miss any of her milestones, So I do remember that after one of the shooting days when I came back, I actually saw her take her first steps. So for me, these things are very precious, because these are the things I'm going to remember when they grow up and when they have their friends and when they're like, Mom, just don't bother. I'm with so-and-so and I'm going here and I'm going there. I don't need you anymore. So those are the days where I'll remember how dependent she was on me at a certain age. And I'm going to enjoy these moments, and I'm going to enjoy these things when I talk to her when she grows up. I was there when you took your first steps. So for me, those things are very important. So I told Siddharth that, we are shooting in Xavier's and it's about an hour, 2 hours away from my house in traffic time. So I need to beat the traffic while going and while coming back, because I don't want to be en route for 4 hours and waste that precious time that I can be with my daughter. So I, told them that I'm going to come to you guys by say 6 in the morning, and I'll start the shoot like at 7:38, as quick as you want, but you got to leave me before lunchtime. And swear to whatever, they actually made it possible for me, because I was home every day for my daughter's lunchtime. I was back home by 12:31, and I achieved that only because my team was that prepared. Siddharth was prepared. My DOP Avinash Arun, he was prepared, and he was told that Rani has this time frame, and the first AD who actually makes the schedule, he kind of scheduled the whole film in a way that I would finish my work and I would leave. So I was able to achieve being part of Hichki and finish the movie only because I had a great team of all these men who really helped me achieve it, and I absolutely thank them for that, because Hichki is a very special film, and I would feel really bad if I would not be able to be part of it for any other reason.
Monica from Yashraj was telling me that you're going to do these teachers awards.
Yeah.
It turned out to be so beautiful, and I saw a clip where all these teachers were being felicitated, and at the end you were with some special children. That must have been a wonderful day also, an afternoon.
It was great, because we actually, for the first time in history, we actually showed 300 teachers around Mumbai and Pune the film, to get a first-hand reaction from the teachers themselves.
And they must have come out crying, a lot of them.
They were crying, they were sobbing, they were just so moved, and most of them said that we've taken this as an inspiration and we are going to change our teaching methods now after seeing the film. So it was just so electric, the whole atmosphere, because imagine having teachers and principals of different schools, teachers who teach different students from different schools, their experiences. And what was great was that everything in the film resonated with them. So for me, that was like actually winning the highest civilian award. Highest Actors Award, because the film is made for the teachers and they are the ones who gave me a thumbs up. So it was great.
Also what's happening in this country is there are two things which are happening. One is, in the good old days, people used to say that the teaching profession is not attracting the right talent. Everybody wants to go to the private sector and make a lot of money. The government now says with the new pay commission, we have really increased salaries of teachers, especially in government schools. So more people should now come into teaching. So that is one aspect which is a good aspect. The other sad aspect is the RT, which is right to education, which started off being about diversity and inclusion, and all of a sudden schools have now found their way around it and said keep these underprivileged children separately. And you must have directly now been affected by this because of this film.
Yes.
Tell us about what's happening and how it's affected you.
I think that is exactly what our film is trying to say, that every child deserves equal opportunity, because you don't know what spark that child has who's going to grow up to be someone really special and someone important, because you are not known by your socioeconomic background or your your race or from where you come from. You are known by what achievements you do in your life and what you do finally for society, and you're known because of that. You're not known because of any other thing. So this whole thing is being actually addressed in our film, and I think when you come out of the film, it kind of has a resolution which is beautiful. So when you see it, I think we'll be able to talk about this more. In fact, after the release, I think we should have one more conversation where we can talk
I
on
love
this
that,
topic.
Rani, anytime.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you all days of the week on my show. If you, as Rani Mukherji, were to reimagine India today, what would you reimagine it as?
I would firstly, in fact, just yesterday I was saying that, when you see the pictures of Bombay from 1920s and 1930s and you see town, it just looks so different, so beautiful. And, I think that's what we need to do to our country today, just so many cars on the street. There's no space to walk. There's no pavement where you can walk actually, And there are cities like say Chandigarh and, Bangalore, and now I recently went to Ahmedabad. Amazing infrastructure. Like the roads are so beautiful, so clean. There are pavements to walk and it's just so well. So it's not as if India is you can say it like all India is like that. There are many places in India which are beautiful and clean, and the infrastructure is amazing. Like when I go to Calcutta recently, I just saw how well developed it is today and how fascinating it looks. So I think there is a way that we can actually, because I'm a Mumbai girl and I stay in Mumbai, I would want Mumbai to be that, because there are so many places that can be beautiful looking and that can be actually made for people to use who are from Bombay. Like the whole point is that when we are living in a city like this and such a beautiful country, because I don't think there can be any better country than India, because so many diverse cultures, people live under the same roof and everybody is treated as equals, everybody loves each other. We are a cosmopolitan city, we're a cosmopolitan country. And then when you want to give back to society is by just making parks, making places where children can play, children can go and be with nature, because only in these over increasing cities like this, you only have malls where you take your children, which is such a sad thing, because children need to grow and see other things like zoos and aquariums. I know things when I go to some other places in other countries in the world, there is so much for the children to do. So right now my focus is only revolving around my child, so I just think from that point of view.
I was shocked to know that you used to stammer as a child. You always think
Yes.
of Rani Mukherji as this confident, sassy, Aries woman.
Yes.
But that's a heroic story. I mean,
I
till
think
what standard?
I don't really remember till what standard, but I think till I was part of films, I did have the issue.
Wow.
Because my mom stammers, my brother stammers, and I think as
But
a
your
child...
mom was a singer. I mean, she still sings,
but
no?
the thing about stammering is when you sing, you don't stammer.
Yeah, correct.
So probably I got it from them, but I think I've been able to camouflage it pretty well in my films because I worked around it. And it's important to work around your weakness and turn it into your strength.
And did you?
And that's the message
did you
of
take
my
some
film as well.
speech therapy for it? Did you?
No, not at all.
Nothing. It
No.
just happened on its own, and which is wonderful because I'm sure that your parents helped you through it.
Yeah.
Another important thing, perhaps, since we're talking about teachers and students, is the fact that parents also need a lot of counseling these days, especially parents of special children.
Yes.
Since at that awards I saw a clip with the
Yes.
special children.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I think,
being a parent yourself now.
I think what is most important today is, as a parent, you'll always be very emotional towards your child because it is your child, you see. So parents are emotionally attached in मतलब मेरा बच्चा सबसे बेस्ट है और मेरे बच्चे में कोई कमी हो ही नहीं सकती. These are the lines that probably parents will always say. They will never be able to see where the child is going wrong because you have just such unconditional love for your child that anything that you see in your child, you will never be able to see any fault till the other person points it out to you. And what is important is that when the other person points it out to you, and that other person could be your mother, could be your father, could be your best friend, could be your sister or your brother, or people who actually matter to you in your life. If they come and tell you that, we are seeing this in your child, it's important for parents to first not be under denial. It's important to hear out that what are they seeing in your child. That I feel is important because for a character like Naina, it was very important, when I hear of children who have Tourette's, what is important is, it is a neuropsychiatric disorder, but what is important is that when you get this syndrome at the age of 3 or 4, it's important that your parent first recognizes this. The parent should not be in denial of the syndrome, because if you insist your child going to a normal school after that, the child will have too many issues. And if that happens, the teacher is supposed to be aware of the syndrome, to be able to understand that the child has this and talk to the parent and tell the parent that I think your child has Tourette's. Why don't you take him to a special school where the teachers can deal with the students like that? Because for a person who has Tourette's, it's very important that they get an atmosphere where they can blossom, because you need to be a little more patient. You need to give a little more time to these students. So I feel that as parents of today, it's very important for us to be aware of what our child is doing and treat it at an early stage rather than keep waiting for it when it gets worse, because you're only damaging it more for the child. So I think that's very, very important.
I'm just curious to know, because when the talk of Tourette's syndrome came up, I had a different view of Tourette's.
Okay.
Because there was an author who, the communications person, the PR person, got in touch with me and said that he has Tourette's. So I said, okay, we'll record it. Now, literally, while he was sitting in front of me and I was having a conversation with him, a couple of portions he broke out into abuse. Right. Luckily, we recorded it, so we took it out.
That is also Tourette's syndrome.
Oh, so it can be various ways.
It's basically Tourette's syndrome. What the definition of Tourette's is that it is a neuropsychiatric disorder which is characterized by sound tics and motor tics, sensory tics.
Like he would have a conversation and go into the F word.
Yes,
after
absolutely,
some time.
absolutely. So you can have that. There is a name for that kind of Tourette's. There are some Tourette's where you start twitching your eyes between sentences, making a weird mouth action. Sometimes some people's hand keeps moving in a weird way, legs move in a weird way.
And they don't know it's happening.
And they don't know it's happening. And even if they know, they cannot help it because it's an involuntary reaction. They can't stop it. They have no control over it. And there are some people who will basically have a sound tic, which is like while talking, they'll just make weird sounds or whistle. So these are the characterizations of a tic.
I'm very happy that you went to your school to promote it, but my college features in the movie. So,
yes.
Did you film in Xavier's or they're just stock shots?
No. We actually shot the entire film in Xavier's, and obviously in the film it's called St. Notker's. But it's such a beautiful college.
Heritage building, yeah.
Heritage building, and it was wonderful shooting there. It was just very hot because we shot in April and May. So peak summer month for us. It was quite a challenge even then to shoot in the heat. But I think we kind of pulled it off.
And I see these wonderful images of you interacting with the kids and in their houses. Was that Worli village? Was it Versova village or Juhu
No, that was Worli village.
Lovely.
It's amazing. Actually, that area I would really say I think is one of the best places in Mumbai. Because it has a great view. Secondly, the people in that colony are just amazing. They just let you do your work. Nobody comes and disturbs you. They're helpful. And it's really great to shoot there.
How much have you changed post becoming a mother? Are you more patient
360
now?
degrees change.
Yeah, you're more patient now.
Yeah, I would say, I had to work on my temper, work on my patience level. But me being me, sometimes I do have those getting back to pre-birth Adira. And after Adira's birth, I'm another human being altogether.
I can imagine you'd be a great friend with your daughter. I mean, you'd be great friends and just
absolutely.
hang out with her and things like that.
I just want to hang with her. I just hope and I wish she allows me to hang with her.
So now here's Manish, who's a creative producer, and your husband is also presenting the film.
Yes.
Did your husband stay out of it completely, or
No.
does
I
he,
think,
or was it just Manish?
No. I think Adi is the producer of the film. Manish is the creative producer, but I think Adi is always involved creatively with all his project. Whether or no his name comes as the creative producer, no, but he's always there like a guiding factor, as a guiding light to all his films that come out, and he's the one who actually greenlights a particular project. So if there are say 10 films that Manish gets to him, he will greenlight the projects that he thinks he wants YRF to produce.
I like the fact that at least in some of the songs and the promos, Naina is actually mentoring all these kids and turning them around. And initially there's obviously a very turbulent relationship.
Yes.
You were a good kid in school, so I'm sure you never threw chalk and things like that.
No, but I know many students doing that.
I also noticed that you took some friends with you to Manikji Kuta.
Yes, I did.
And these are all friends from your childhood
Nursery.
days? Wow.
We've been together. Actually, there were 2 of them who are with me from pre-nursery, which is play school, and there's one of them who was with me from nursery. So they were fighting in the car because we were like, oh God, we're together from like Pilu Auntie's class, which is like pre-nursery. We were like in play school, and the other one says, God, you guys are so mean. I was from nursery, yeah. It's just I was just not with y'all for 1 year. You all can make it like, oh, y'all were there before me. It's not because we were actually all of us together from like nursery. So it's like amazing to have them around with me for this long, and strangely we've all kept in touch. Luckily they were also living in Bombay, so it was easier to be in touch than the ones who've traveled and who are staying abroad. But like one of my friends from school, today he's a officer in Scotland Yard in London. Yeah, and when I see him today, I'm like, I can't recognize him because he's got this beefed up body and he's like this officer, and he's like, I'll give you security, Rani, when you come to London. I'm
With
like,
his
"Shut
full,
up."
with his
And I'm
full
like,
accent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shut up. You give me security.
And your favorite teacher amongst all those wonderful teachers, who would they be? Who would she or he be?
See, I think I was very close to Mrs. Dadarkar. She was my class teacher in the third, and actually that year she became the class teacher for the third standard, but actually she was teaching the 9th and 10th standard English and history. But it so happened, in schools, sometimes it happens that the opening happens that you start with a lower class. So that particular year when she joined school, she was given our class as a class teacher. So I have very vivid memories of her being my class teacher in the third standard. And outside our class, we had this huge banyan tree where we used to hang on the banyan tree.
Like literally. I thought like hanging out like in the
No
woods.
hanging.
And all.
No, that is like today's word. Let's hang. But we were actually hanging. Literally hanging. I was hanging with my friends. So we were literally hanging on the branches.
So Naina Mathur teaches chemistry, right? What does she teach?
No,
Maths?
she teaches science and maths.
Okay. And
So
you,
I'm a very good actor because I was very weak in maths. in
yeah?
school, yeah.
So your analytical mind wasn't as good as... So
Not
what
at
were
all.
you...
I was, I think, very creative from the beginning only.
Yeah, and so what were the subjects that you really aced at in school? Or do you like to
I think
delve
geography and history.
Those
My
are
two
your-
favorite subjects. And of course English. I love Julius Caesar, studying literature.
into? But you didn't do theatre in school and, do Caesar and things like that, you didn't?
Hrishikesh, this is for you. I've got a gift for you. So please tell the listeners what I've gifted you.
Since radio is the theatre of the mind, I'm going to describe it. It's A to Z types of Hichki. Hichki sabko hoti hai, it says.
And you should tell me about your favorite Hichki in that, and you can open that packet.
Oh wow, there's so many Hichkis. So
Yeah,
every
it's
alphabet
A to Z of
corresponds to one
Hichkis,
Hichki.
Yes. So you have to go
Yeah,
through
this
it
is
and tell me your
definitely one. I
favorite.
have so many friends from the Northeast. I have friends from Nagaland, Tripura, Mizoram, Manipur, all rock lovers.
Yeah.
And Northeast ko China samajhne ki Hichki. I hate it when my friends from the Northeast are called Chinkies or Chinese. So this has got to be one huge one. The kind of concerts I go with my friends from the Northeast, I think that's really, it struck a chord with me. So guys, that's A to Z types of Hichki. And now, as you can make out from the sound effect, I'm opening the next gift that Rani, large-hearted Rani has brought for me. Oh, it's a lovely mug.
And you have to see
And I'm
it's
a
like
huge
and it's
filter
like
coffee.
It's like a blackboard.
Yes, there is a portion in the trailer or in one of the songs where you say if you take off the tip of the chalk,
Yes.
then you can actually start using it. And this is it. This is Hichki, the mug. And you guys will be seeing me on social networking drinking some nice South Indian filter coffee with this. Listen, you're lovely. And I'm just so happy every time I see you. And I hope I see you more frequently. Yeah,
I think we
As
should
opposed to-
definitely do one interview after the film release, because since you told me that your mom is a teacher.
Yeah, physics
you have
teacher.
to-
She used to
yes.
teach physics.
So
yeah.
you take your mom on 23rd March, the day the film releases, and then you give me your feedback and then we do an interview.
Lovely. I wait for that.
Okay.
Thank you, Rani.
Bye.